It's a lovely spring day. A girl and a boy standing on the roof. Rosa Park is the girl's name. She mustered all her courage to express her feelings for this boy. She reveals that she has had a crush on him for 2 years, which surprises the boy. His reaction, "I'm sorry, but who are you?" Rosa's heart breaks at that point. She is 18 years old and has no prior relationship experience. Her 2-year, one-sided crush failed. Guy politely apologizes and walks away. She begins to cry. She assumed that if she confessed her feelings, he would be hers, but that is not the case. She is embarrassed and wishes her feelings would simply go away. At that moment, someone detonates a bomb on the rooftop. It has 9 seconds left before the massive explosion occurs. The building beneath her collapses, and she is in free fall. Her prayers appear to be about to be answered. She is in a state of panic and cries out for help. She is still young and has her entire life ahead of her, and she does not want to die. She believes she was the cause of the incident and regrets her wish. Rosa is seen falling by a police officer. He decides to assist her. She believes this is her final moment and regrets dying on the day her one-sided crush dumped her. A man intercepts her in midair. With his special abilities, he prevents the debris from falling on them as well. He is a handsome blonde with golden eyes. When they arrive at safety, the guy asks her if she is okay. She is completely stunned. She responds timidly that she is fine and not hurt. She didn't even get a chance to say thank you, because he had more police work to do the next moment. College orders him to pursue some criminals who have fled into the alley. Rose collapses to her knees. It was the 10 most intense seconds of her life. Rosa Park, who is 18 years old, has fallen in love again. That incident happened 2 years ago. Say, a female streamer is introduced to us. That is her streamer name. She apologizes to the stream for her inability to stream recently. She had to deal with midterms, but they are now finished. Twitch chat prompts her to put on her watch, which she does. A new viewer inquiries about the purpose of the watch. Say responds that it is to keep track of when she is using her abilities. Police officers are required to always wear them, including while showering. She also tells us that special abilities are considered a weapon and that they are permitted to use them while on duty. She goes on. When this watch goes off, it indicates that there is a case. At that moment, the watch makes a loud beeping sound. She curses and runs away, leaving the stream open. Even though the stream was only a minute long, her followers were having a good time. We move on to the crime scene. A large crowd has gathered to observe. Some police officers are also on the scene. On the roof, we see a man holding a hostage and warning police not to approach. He has had his body augmented. He can transform his hands into blades. He's threatening to execute his hostage. The police officer is attempting to persuade the criminal. He should give up and come down. If he resists, his sentence will be lengthened. She's annoyed because her backup is nowhere to be found. She notices Sei arrive on the scene. She is a police hero, and many bystanders cannot believe they have met her. She promises to sign autographs after they have resolved the situation. Her friend yells at her because she was supposed to be on standby rather than streaming. Jungi is not coming, and the twins are off duty too. They are taking exams. She assesses the situation using her clairvoyance gift. She predicts that criminals and civilians will both perish. When she hears this, her partner leaps into the air, hoping to save the innocent civilian. Seonjang is her name. Her superpower is agility. The criminal notices her approaching and warns her not to get any closer. He yells and slips because he wasn't paying attention. They both fell at the same time. However, everything is fine. Doryeong Han shows up just in time. He possesses telekinesis and catches them both in midair. He was on vacation, but he arrived earlier than expected for some reason. Doryeong offers Seon assistance in descending from the rooftop, but she declines. Her professional pride as a cop has been harmed. The crowd is overjoyed to see the most popular cop in action. They swarmed around him, and everyone has already forgotten about streamer Sei. We are given a brief history lesson. Following the emergence of superpowers, the number of superpowered criminals has risen dramatically. Society was confronted with crimes that ordinary police officers could not prevent. The Bureau of Super Abilities was created to stop them. He was born with 2 powerful abilities in a world where you only need one to be trained as a superpowered police officer. He saved the entire school when he was in elementary school. He saved the country in middle school and became known as the most powerful SP police officer ever. He was not only talented, but his good looks and kind nature made him popular far beyond any idols. Even the people gathered at the scene are aware of Doryeong Han's schedule. They are surprised that he has returned from his vacation. He tells everyone that he witnessed the incident from the air and decided to come and assist his colleagues. Say, a streamer, is envious. Doryeong has reclaimed the top spot in search term trends. He assures her that if she works hard enough, she will get there too. Say nearly falls apart, but Sion reminds her that there are cameras everywhere and she must keep her cool. Doryeong, she says, is acting a little too confident these days. She reminds him of how nervous he used to get when using his telekinesis powers on civilians. Doryeong dismisses it, stating that it was a long time ago. Sion Jang cautions him. He must not unwind. What will he do if a criminal more powerful than him appears? Doryeong is skeptical that this will ever happen. He is the country's best and most powerful cop of all time. Suddenly, Sei has a strange feeling that causes her to look behind her. She notices someone dressed strangely and wearing a gas mask. Something is wrong, and she turns to warn Doryeong of the danger. Their adversary is swift, and Sei is already within her grasp. She throws Sei far away with her unknown powers and stands face to face with the strongest police officer ever. And Doryeong gets scared. Sei is in a lot of trouble. Her powers are clairvoyance, and she is powerless. Sion Jang, her friend, uses superspeed to rush toward her. They smash through office windows as they collide with the building. Doryeong becomes enraged. The man in the gas mask dared to injure his friends, and he's willing to make her pay. He goes on to say that if you mess with a police officer, you're looking at a minimum of 3 years in prison. Rosa quickly evades his grasp on her shoulder. Doryeong employs telekinesis to grab a bench. He intends to use it as a weapon. He causes it to fly at breakneck speed toward the criminal. She is quick, however, and effortlessly grabs the bench in midair and tosses it back at Doryeong. She takes him by surprise. He wasn't expecting such a move, and it cuts his face while destroying the bench behind him. He is up against an unusual criminal this time. He is surprised once more. Someone miraculously heals the cut he just sustained. He employs his telekinesis abilities once more. He gathers even more random objects to use against her this time. He throws them with great force, and they collide with the ground, causing damage and cracking the concrete. He leaps towards the impacted area, convinced that he has won, but no one is there. Everything has been destroyed, but the enemy has vanished. After some time, Sei is doing her regular stream from a hospital bed. Her fans are concerned after hearing about the incident on the news. She promises to find the criminal once she improves. Sei is asked on Twitch chat how she became an SP police officer. She reacts, "My clairvoyance superpower manifested itself during an exam. What she saw was a punishment for failing the test, not the answers to it." When someone enters the room, she becomes visibly sad. Doryeong inquires as to how she is feeling. When he enters the camera angle, the Twitch stream goes crazy. Sei notices people's reactions and becomes envious once more. She goes over the powers in greater detail. Everyone's abilities manifest at different times throughout their lives, depending on the individual. It was when Doryeong was born. However, for late bloomers, it can occur much later in life. Rosa Park is seen casually chilling on the rooftop in the following scene. She recalls her crush brushing up against her right shoulder. She is cheerful and blushing. 2 years ago, she returned home after being rescued and discovered she had fallen in love with a celebrity. He had 2.87 million followers on Instagram. She attended an event where Doryeong was honored as the best police officer. It was held outdoors, and it was raining that day. Regardless, a large crowd had gathered to see him. Rosa and Doryeong have a very special memory. He was the one who saved her life. Rosa, on the other hand, was unaware of one fact. Doryeong Han's fan club was mostly made up of people he had saved. There isn't much room, and people are squeezing past one another. Rosa is pushed to the side by an unknown man. He wants to see the celebrity as well. Rosa refuses to give up because she desperately wants to see Doryeong. Rosa felt as if she were being electrocuted as thunder rolled across the sky. Unconsciously, she snatches the man in front of her and launches him into the air. People are taken aback and look at her strangely. She wished she could flee at that moment. That's exactly what she did. She teleports away by activating a dormant power within her. Rosa possesses 2 superhuman abilities, superhuman strength and teleportation. She can't believe her eyesight has miraculously improved and she can see clearly. She put on a mask to hide from the PDS after unintentionally tossing a fan into the air during the awards ceremony, and went off to find Doryeong. His surroundings, however, were more dangerous than she had anticipated. She became extremely ill after encountering a superhuman who could release gas to attack Doryeong. Rosa Park, despite this, did not give up. Her last crush had taught her a harsh lesson. If you don't meet the challenge ahead, nothing will happen. She was also hit by a car another time. Her powers kept her safe, but her clothes were ripped. They were too flimsy for her and she requires something more robust. So 2 years passed, and Rosa Park was the only one who didn't notice anything was wrong. Her picture is of Doryeong, who is attending a special police meeting to discuss this unknown S-class criminal. Gilby Choi is the name of his superior. His extraordinary abilities are unknown. Another police officer enters the room. Jung-gi is his name. Gilby is taken aback by his arrival. The police chief informs him that if he does not show up for work, he will be fired. He has a bad habit of being late for meetings. Jung-gi's abilities are also unknown. The chief inquires as to why he did not respond to the previous call. Jung-gi confirms that he did. He was present, but he couldn't leave because Se had arrived. 2 versus 2. He didn't want to throw off the symmetry. It was ideal, and that is why he didn't join them. The police chief is deafeningly quiet, but then Doryeong appeared, and he considered joining in, but the masked stranger seemed too powerful, and he became terrified. They continue their discussion. Doryeong, their best officer, couldn't do anything against him, demonstrating how serious the masked enemy is. Doryeong became visibly upset upon hearing this. Jung-gi comes in and interrupts the briefing. He proceeds to correct the symmetry of the projector, which is slightly crooked. The chief asks him to leave again, but Jung-gi ignores him. Everyone contributes ideas for a name for the gas mask. The black gas mask is unappealing. The villain in the school uniform is far too bizarre. The terror man will not work either. The black gas mask techwear is excessively long. They settle on a Blackdog for the time being. Doryeong has been ordered by the chief to remain silent for the time being. He becomes enraged. To catch the Blackdog, they will form a task force with all the officers except Doryeong. He tries, but in vain, to persuade the chief. The decision was made. He is sitting alone in the next scene. Disappointed, Se approaches him and offers him a drink to cheer him up. She appears pleased that her popular rival has suffered a setback, and encourages him to rest, take a break, and be forgotten from people's minds. Doryeong has known her for a long time and isn't surprised by her attitude. Se departs, and he becomes lost in thought once more. Who will save me if the Blackdog is truly after me and I am unable to defeat them? He recalls his childhood. He was about 11 years old at the time. A section of the building had collapsed and was now directly on top of him. He wasn't strong enough at the time to lift something this heavy. A man appeared and smashed it like nothing just before the debris killed him. He rescued Doryeong at the time. If only that person would show up right now. His watch alarm goes off and he has another case. He pushes himself. He shouldn't be saying such weak things. Doryeong Han is his given name. The most powerful SP officers. It's a cloudy evening. Rosa has Doryeong's poster in her room and is writing him a letter. She sets the pen down. It's all done. For good luck, she kisses the letter. She watches the news on television. Robbers broke into the bank. She will leave. There is a chance that Doryeong will be there. Meanwhile, 2 thieves are conversing at the bank. One of them reassures the others that they should not be concerned. Doryeong Han isn't the same anymore and they will be able to escape. They, too, have superpowers. One of them is capable of detonation, another form of silence. These abilities are ideal for these Kina jobs, and they will form the best duo there is. He explains that you should plan an escape route. Doryeong appears on the scene and scares the thieves. The person with the explosion ability uses it on the police officer, but it has little effect. Doryeong's injuries can be healed instantly. He wonders if thieves will be able to defeat him with these abilities. There's no need to flee because both will be apprehended right here. He violently shakes them up and down with his telekinesis powers, but he is interrupted by his partner. If he continues in this manner, they will undoubtedly perish, and he must stop immediately. While his partner arrests the thieves, he apologizes. Doryeong doesn't seem to be himself these days. He believes that if I show my vulnerability, pathetic criminals like them will emerge from nowhere. I can't let them look down on me no matter what. For a split second, time stands still. Someone else enters the scene. The Blackdog has arrived. Doryeong looks at her and is angry. His public image has suffered because of her. He needs to act right away. He swears that he will arrest the Blackdog right here and now. Rosa Park is also ecstatic. Doryeong Han is finally looking her way. Her heart is racing, and she is at a loss for what to do. He's approaching her. This is not a dream. Situations are completely different from his point of view. He's terrified, but he doesn't have a choice. There are far too many people watching him. He must regain control of himself. He tightens his fists. It's either now or never. She is embarrassed because there are so many people watching them, but she will tell him today. She clenches her fists in excitement. She musters all her courage and goes ahead with it. I enjoy your company. I've had a crush on you ever since you saved my life 2 years ago. Other officers are standing far away and are unable to hear the conversation. Doryeong is confused as well. It is currently raining outside, and her voice did not reach him. She's wearing a mask, which doesn't help matters. The officer orders his partner to turn off the sirens. He, too, cannot hear anything. Something always gets in the way of her confessing to him. She once prepared a bouquet and practiced her speech. When she tried to give them to him, he was attacked, and a massive explosion occurred. Another time, she was fully armored and went to meet him. He was, however, during a shootout. Another time, he was fighting an adversary who could manipulate the weather and create tornadoes that swept her away. Her fortune had been bad for the past 2 years, but this time she had a backup plan. She reaches into her pocket for something. That was the letter she had written to him earlier. She dashes towards him and is only a short distance away. However, another officer comes between them. To protect Doryeong from the Blackdog, he raised the ground between them. Her letter is blown away in the commotion. Yoongi grabs her shoulder, and they vanish together. Fortunately for Rosa, her letter reaches Doryeong. It lands directly beneath his feet. Both Yoongi and Rosa Park teleport to an unknown location in the city. He fastens the handcuffs. She can now teleport wherever she wants, and the officer will always accompany her. She has been apprehended. He tries to summon assistance. While doing so, he hears a cracking noise and turns to face her. He is the only one wearing handcuffs. She effortlessly cuts through the chain. She then gently returns the other half of the handcuffs, bows, and flees. Young Face-gi is expressionless. He is stunned to his core. Doryeong, meanwhile, picks up the letter from the ground. He's perplexed. Why was his enemy trying to give it to him? When he opens it, Yoongi rushes over to him. It should be burned right away. Doryeong is informed that the Blackdog saved his life. He's not even worth murdering. He shows him the shattered handcuffs and warns him that the Blackdog is extremely powerful, and that they should not take any chances. They deliver the letter to the robber. He possesses explosive power. Yoongi requests that he blows it up. Man concurs. Doryeong is unsure. He wants to read it first, but Yoongi is wary of taking any chances. It's most likely a death threat. Blackdog could have ripped me apart like those handcuffs back then and even now, but he didn't. Why is he attempting to communicate with me? Doryeong Han, officer. Hello, my name is Rosa Park, and you saved my life once. If you hadn't found and rescued me, I would have died after falling from that building. Because of you, I will always remember how precious life is and be grateful that I am still alive today. Rosa Park is a fan of yours. The letter is almost destroyed, with only a few fragments remaining. Doryeong, officer. Find and kill her. Remember. Rosa removes her mask and smiles broadly. Something is finally going her way. She saw Doryeong today and was able to give him the letter. She is curious if he read it. Meanwhile, the boys are stunned. The Blackdog appears to be after Doryeong's head. He decides to take a break and requests a vacation. Rumors are spreading like wildfire. Doryeong Han has declared war on Blackdog. Is Doryeong Han on leave indefinitely? What is the identity of the Blackdog? A random family is discussing the most recent events. There's a new criminal on the loose. The powers of the Blackdog have been revealed by the Bureau of Super Ability, which are thought to be superhuman strength and teleportation. The man is taken aback when he hears this. Those abilities are well known. He passes out. The Blackdog is not the culprit. Meanwhile, the city's elderly is in a state of panic. A young girl is riding in a taxi, looking at this strange situation. She hands over her credit card to a man. He maintains that there is no need to pay. We'll all be dead before we know it. He appears to be in his 60s as well. Flashback from 52 years ago. The person who terrorized citizens was the one who possessed superhuman strength that the police or even the SP police couldn't handle. They appeared out of nowhere one day, only to vanish the next, in full view of everyone. Only those who lived during that time could comprehend the terror, a name that nowadays kids only know because of Wikipedia. People are afraid to even say the name of an SP criminal out loud. On the bus, there is a massive man. A bag of groceries was next to him. He appears to have finished his shopping for the day and is on his way home. Next to him, a guy coughs and he stands up. A huge man offers the sick man a seat. He is so tall that his head almost reaches the roof of the vehicle. He hears a group of guys talking about the Blackdog. He is compared to a villain from 50 years ago. One of them inquires about the one whose name is You Die. The elderly are terrified when they hear that name. They continue, You die if you make him angry, which is why he was nicknamed You Die. The bus suddenly breaks, and one of the boys grabs the giant's hoodie. He responds that holding onto the handle tight is the polite thing to do while on a bus. He gives him a menacing look. Boys become terrified and beg for their lives. The enormous man claims he has nothing to gain by murdering 2 children. He exits the bus. Diana is the You Die character. Superpower superhuman. The most infamous villain ever known. who had mysteriously vanished one day, was living among the people as if they were one of them. Something else is unknown to the public. Yudai is Rosa's grandmother. Diana is currently 79 years old. She was a legendary SP criminal and Rosa Park's grandmother on her father's side. She is concerned about Rosa. Rosa must accompany her grandmother wherever she goes these days because a stranger is out and about. She's talking about the black dog. Rosa is running late for school, so she has no time for this. Diana screams at her. At the very least, eat your breakfast. That's why you're so frail. Rosa has left, and Diana has entered her room. It's a mess in there. She notices an unusual outfit and picks it up. A black mask stands next to it. She recognized it from the news. Rosa's alter ego is the black dog. Diana is pleased with her granddaughter. She has matured considerably. Unfortunately, this is not something she can rejoice over. She needs to see Gilby. He is the head of the Superhuman Abilities Bureau. People are surprised to see Doryeong at his university. He rarely goes because he is too busy at work. But now that he is on vacation, he can go. His superior officer also encouraged him to continue his education. As he walks down the corridor, people gather around him. At the very back stands a beautiful girl. Rosa Park is the name. She goes to the same college as Doryeong. She is taken aback by this coincidence and drops her snack. Was Rosa's bad luck this whole time just for today? That concludes part 1 of The Villain with a Crush. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Subscribe if you want to be notified when the next installment is available. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.